Is that cool?
Yeah, that works.
So, first, give me a little bit of a background on your DJing career.
Shoot, background on my DJ career. I've been doing this a little over 15 years here in the Toledo area. Everything from EDM, electronic music, which kind of got me started in DJing, which then took me back to like my old school hip hop roots once I got into turntables and stuff like that. Mixed with Kiss FM for 8 years now, going on 9 years. Just doing on-air mixes with them, side projects and parties with those guys. Now I'm traveling around. I've got a monthly in Chicago at the Evil Olive. Just played in Birmingham, England. I play in Vegas every February. I do some real big high school parties with a buddy of mine, Sparky B, out in Akron, which is really cool. Have progressed quite a bit. Now I'm doing some production work with electronic music, which is blowing up in iTunes, Google Play. We're getting ready to release our new EP May 21st. Group's named Static Link. We do a lot of dubstep and trap, but we also do electro house, and you can hear some of our remixes right now on beatcourt.com.
Tell me why you decided, way back, why you wanted to get into DJing in the first place.
Music. I was born with headphones on my head. If you look at my Facebook page, there is a picture of me about 2 years old with a pair of 1978 headphones on my head. So music, I mean, it was one of the things that would put me to sleep at night. It was one of the things that got me up in the morning when I was a kid. Everything from classic rock to disco to 80s music. My first 45 was David Lee Roth's California Girls. On the flip side, I remember was Just a Gigolo, and I didn't know what the heck that meant, but it was a good song then. So my love for music in general got me into DJing.
Tell me how it was. I'm sure you started out with records.
Actually, I started out with CDs because I seen the CDs and the digital turntables, as what they were called back then, kind of progressing into the market and becoming the new thing DJs were doing. I got hated on it pretty quick for doing it. I didn't get the respect as a nightclub DJ. I got more of the respect as a mobile, like, wedding jock. So I stuck it out for 2 years, saved up my cash, got into my first turntables, and it was all over from there.
Tell me how you started out with promotion. Promotion's a huge part of getting your name out there. How was the original? How did that work for you?
Absolutely. When I started, there wasn't. I mean, there was internet, but there wasn't, a whole lot of social media sites out there for you to just plaster your stuff all over. We were relying on printing up hundreds of CDs with our demos, with pictures on the inside of the nightclubs we were DJing at, business cards. We did email blasts, believe it or not. Standing out in front of the nightclub the night before your gig with black and white flyers you just printed up at Kinko's. Those were our promotional tools. That was our social networking back then.
I remember you used to see on telephone poles all the time, people, come out to the show, their own artwork. It's such a self-involved, you have to really be as much into the promotion as you have to be into the music, really, to break through. Absolutely.
As easy as it was back then, it still costed us a boatload of money. I mean, back then CDs didn't cost a whole lot of money, or it costed a boatload of money. Paper stuff, I mean, even if you're printing up hundreds and hundreds of these things, the costs add up. We couldn't just send hundreds and hundreds of people emails at once, and it costed us a penny. We were spending a lot of money on top of our upkeep for music. So just to promote our names.
Was there any point where you're like, I may have gotten myself in too deep, especially with how much money you're shelling out just to get gigs?
Oh yeah. I mean, I started out playing for $40 in a bar tab. That barely paid the gas and electric, let alone an internet bill. Yeah, I definitely, a couple weeks into it, you're going, holy cow, I owe money on all this DJ gear I just bought. How am I going to buy all this music I all of a sudden need, But, you kind of muscle through it. When something's your passion, you find a way.
When the internet started to really pop, especially on the music scene, music videos started going on YouTube, things like that. How did that influence or affect your musical career?
Well, now you started seeing less and less trips out to the record store to go digging for records, to see what's news coming out before the radio stations get it. You're getting it just as soon as the DJ out in Vegas or the DJ out in New York City or the DJ out in LA is getting it now. The music is easier to get your hands on. Now I don't have to buy a 12-inch record with like a bunch of garbage on it for that one song that I need to play at the nightclub every night. And I don't have to buy that record 4 or 5 times because I messed it up last week. I can buy one copy on the internet, and I can play it on 2 turntables if I need to, you know. That one copy, and that copy doesn't degrade as long as my hard drive doesn't crash, you know.
Right. So, you know, tell me how you buy music online. What places you go to?
Oh, there's, I do use iTunes for some of that hard to get stuff. Beatport.com is a very famous site for EDM music. For a lot of your indie artists, there's SoundCloud.com. A lot of indie artists out there will post their music for you to hear, for you to play in the nightclub, just to get their names out in the club. Let's see, there's digital record pools. Before, when we worked for radio stations, which was another way we did a lot of social networking, was getting your name on the radio was a big thing. Very hard to do, but it was a big thing, and that helped just as much as internet back then. We do at the radio stations, we'd have record pools send us records into the radio station, like, hey, these are the new hottest mixes. We hear you playing we're #1 on the radio. We want your DJs playing it. You'd get records that way. Now there's digital record pools. Now you can pay $20 a month, $100 a year, whatever the fees may be, and go to these websites. You might be issued credits to download what you want. So now I can go in, and my $15 pays for 15 songs I know I'm going to use at the club, opposed to a $15 record where I might be using one song and I just had to buy it twice because I need to do tricks with it, or just to make sure I had a backup copy.
So it really has boosted people's profits.
Absolutely, it's making it easier for people to DJ, making the music out there more available. And then, like you said, now the money I'm spending is stuff that I'm using, and it's saving me a lot of money as well.
Tell me about YouTube, all these Beatport, those kind of things, DJ City, all these kind of websites are great ways for other people to show what they're doing, ways that they mix songs. I mean, do you ever go on the internet to find kind of inspiration for different ways to mix songs?
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, one of the websites I mentioned earlier, SoundCloud, not just for producers. There's a lot of DJs on there posting their 15-minute party mixes, half-hour party mixes. They're 1 hour sets that they recorded at the nightclub. And there's big name DJs doing it. I mean, you might find Skrillex post last night in Detroit's mix on SoundCloud. You go listen to it just to see how he's mixing something. You might go and listen to David Guetta's mix right off of Beatport. He posted some of his mixes on Beatport and SoundCloud, just to listen to how some of these guys are mixing. Each genre of, I've been doing it forever. I come from a deep house, electronic funky house, and an old school hip hop background, which music is mixed a certain way. Now some of the ways that you're mixing music, like with dubstep and trap and some of the more aggressive, progressive house, is a little different. You tend to be mixing 30, 40 tracks in an hour instead of 15, so to speak. So going and listening to how these artists are mixing, definitely. It's going to SoundCloud, going to hypemachine.com, going to Beatport and listening to the way these DJs mix. Definitely a good way to go and get inspiration. I want to know who's doing the next big scratch trick. YouTube. I'll go to YouTube and see who won the DMC battle last year, and see what new tricks he's got going on. Am I going to be able to do them? Maybe not, maybe, but I'm still going to try.
Let me just stop real quick and start again. The other thing I want to ask you about, so do you yourself actually post onto the internet your own mixes, things like that?
Absolutely, absolutely. I started back when I lived in Chicago. There was a website called Demo Streams, which was kind of like a social media site for DJs. It was before MySpace came out, and a lot of DJs would post their mixes on there and use it as a digital way to promote themselves. Okay, I'm going to send this club owner a link through an email, which I know is 10 times easier to click and listen to right there on the spot than trying to find him at a nightclub, give him my CD, and hopefully he plays my CD on the ride home or plays it the next time he's in the office, and hopefully he listens to the whole thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, just going into that, tell me how you use the internet as a promotional tool.
Oh, it's invaluable. And you've got to use it right. It's powerful using it right. Now, instead of sending a club owner a CD, a mixtape, a portfolio of pictures and letters of compliments, like book me at your nightclub, now I can just send him a website link. Go to my website. It's all there. Pictures of the last 10 years of parties I've done, all the last mixes I've done. Now I'm doing, you know, music video mixes. You can see demos of that. Now I don't have to spend money on DVDs, CDs, a professional photographer's prints, have you, to send all this stuff in a manila envelope out to all these club owners across the world. Now I can just pull up my email, pull up my Facebook, pull up my Twitter. Boom, here's my newest mix. Now my 3,000 followers can go, bam, we love your mix, we hate your mix, whatever it is, you know. And it's a lot easier to approach that many people opposed to like how much would it cost me to print 3,000 CDs and send them out for free? You know what I mean? It's invaluable, and using it right. I think not only musicians should use this right, but businesses in general should use this properly.
Yeah, one-stop shop. Tell me about so many DJs now using Serato, all that kind of stuff, Tracker, whatever. Tell me a little bit about your rig that you got now. You got all your digital stuff. You know, tell me how you've upgraded from what CDs that you used to use to all the MP3s digital music.
Oh, sure. I mean, you know, it was like 6 or 7 250 CD books, you know, with some little CD players. Now it's kind of old school to go back to vinyl, but this is the way I really traditionally learned how to mix. So I like to stick here. Now it's really cool because the turntables plug into the mixer. The mixer is now a sound card or interface for the software on the computer, which runs out USB. This record makes a tone. If I were to play this in a standard turntable out your speakers at home, it'd go boo, make this funky little beat noise. The computer registers the tone changes and the speed changes of that to do what you're supposed to do to an MP3. So literally I make this vinyl any song that I want to out of my hard drive and never have to change a record. Before I was playing on these and a mixer, and I was carrying 12 crates of records with 80 records in each crate. It was almost a separate trip just to go home to get my music for the proper music to play for a night. Now I can come out with a hard drive with 30, 40, 50,000 songs on it, and I can mix it just the way I'm traditionally used to mixing music.
The last thing I wanted to ask you about, one thing that I found invaluable is just the cloud, being able to store your entire collection of MP3s up on the cloud just in case you could be anywhere in the world and have your music. Absolutely.
Now, I wouldn't stream from a cloud like to your gig. I mean, there's some people, I mean, if you're not doing things that are real intense like I'm doing, you could probably pull it off.
But just the fact that it's there for you to download it.
Oh, absolutely. I can do it right. Like if all of a sudden my hard drive crashed right now, some lady trips and spills her beer on my hard drive, hopefully that don't happen tonight. You know, I've got a little backup device at home. As long as I can connect to a secure internet, I can download, you know, 2, 3, 4 gigs, whatever I need to get myself through the night tonight. So I'm not just packing up at the end of or at 10 o'clock and leaving because somebody spilled a beer on my stuff. So yeah, the cloud's really cool to store music. You know, as a producer's end, doing remixes for other artists, it's a cool place to store, like, okay, here's what I've done to your song, do you like it? Well, I do, but here's the change up I did. Boom, I can come back tomorrow, load it into like Dropbox and pull their song back down and do another funky remix to it, upload it back to them so they have it. Now us two artists are the only ones playing this remix out at the nightclubs, which is really cool.
So have you done a lot of that, collaborating with people, say, overseas or whatever, across the country?
We're starting to. I mean, we did a Cataracts remix. We've done a remix for Kendrick Lamar. We've done a Ellie Goulding's Light remix contest on Beatport. Which one? We just did a Zed remix contest on Beatport, and it's all like collaborations with other people. And you know, you're like, especially the other teammate in Static Link. He's in another studio on the other side of the city making stuff. He puts it up on Dropbox. I download it in my studio, do my funny thing to it, pop it back up into Dropbox. He puts the final touches on it. Boom, it's on the internet for sale or for distribution or for, you know, our fans to download for free.
Yeah, we use Dropbox for music all the time too. And the very last thing, what's the what's the future here? What's the next step? Where do you see yourself going, aided by online?
It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of production work. It's going to be, you know, social media is definitely going to take over. It's not going to be long before you're going to be able to just stream my nights at the nightclub right there to Facebook. You know, you might be over in New York. You might just see me play in England or something. And where does Rob sample spin? Boom, pull it up on you know, Vimeo.com, and there I am playing at the nightclub live, being streamed. There might have been a delay behind it, but that's the way things are going. Pretty soon you'll see clubs, you know, booking David Guetta to play 4 nights at 4 different clubs across the world, and he's playing in one studio, streaming it out of these nightclubs, packing houses. You know, that's kind of where I see the future going now.
That'd be sweet. Rob, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Yeah, you mind if I take some video?